I'm talking about a new book now.
Okay.
It's a new book. It examines how breathing and breathing techniques and easy exercises can actually improve your health. This is according to new research, a growing body of research that shows that proper breathing can help many conditions, including anxiety, asthma, sleep apnea, ADHD, autoimmune diseases, hypertension, also dental health, believe it or not. Author James Nestor writes about these techniques in Breath, the New Science of a Lost Art. Now, we should point out, Nestor is not a doctor, he's not a scientist. However, he spoke to a lot of them in researching this book and also went through a journey on his own from not breathing too well to doing it better. None of what he's about to say is intended to be a substitute for a doctor's advice, but I do think this is going to be an enriching conversation, and James Nestor joins us now. James, good morning to you. This is an unexpectedly fascinating book, I will say. I had some skepticism when I picked it up. I think, okay, breathing, as long as you do it, it's all the same, right? But you've convinced me that it's not, that you can, that there's a difference between breathing through your nose and your mouth, for example, and that we've been doing it wrong, many of us. How did that happen? How did we, as big old mammals, get bad at this essential part of life?
Well, I had a lot of skepticism when I was first researching this book. I didn't think that there was a very interesting story in breathing at all until I started talking to biological anthropologists. There are such things. And they showed me ancient skulls. And if you look at an ancient skull, it's going to have perfectly straight teeth, very powerful jaw, forward-growing face. If you look at a modern skull, such as mine, it's going to have crooked teeth, a flatter face, recessed face. So when we have a smaller mouth, and that's what's happened with modern humans, teeth have nowhere to grow in, so they grow in crooked. And having a smaller mouth also means we have a smaller airway, which is one of the main reasons so many of us have sleep apnea, why we snore, why we have other respiratory issues.
So in other words, cavemen did not snore, they did not need braces, and it was a trade-off. Our brains got bigger, but our mouths got smaller, our jaws got smaller, and now we're struggling to breathe. So it's no one's fault. We're dealing with it. How do we change it? How do we improve our breathing?
Well, it's much easier when you're a young kid or an infant because so much of that growth is happening. So eating hard foods, not eating industrialized mush, because that's the #1 culprit to why our mouths have grown so small and our teeth are so bad. But when you're in adulthood, it's a lot harder. So you can adopt healthy breathing habits, but you can also do exercises for your mouth. Because what we have here in our throat is basically a muscle tube, and it gets flabby just like any other muscle. And the more soft, processed foods we eat, the less we're able to really have that masticatory stress, which we need to keep this muscle fit.
So, James, you call this a lost art and a missing pillar of health. Why aren't doctors generally talking about this? Why isn't the medical community traditionally putting this in the forefront of healthy living?
Well, they were for thousands of years. You look at the oldest medical texts from India, from China, even from Greece, and they were talking about healthy breathing. There's 7 books in the Chinese Tao that talk only about breathing, all the bad things that are going to happen if you do it improperly, and all the good things that are going to happen if you do it properly. So, you know, there's a growing body of research. It's been there for hundreds of years, actually, in the Western cultures about how healthy breathing habits can really improve so many chronic conditions. But I think as new pills and other potions came around, we thought, oh, we don't need to concentrate on our breathing. We'll just take this pill. We'll just do this thing.
Yeah.
But what we're finding, yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. What we're finding?
What we're finding is that, you know, you really do have to show up and do some of this work for your body to stay balanced. Western medicine is a miraculous thing that has so many innumerable benefits to us. But breathing is something we carry with us all day long. 25,000 times a day we're breathing. If we're doing that improperly, the body is just never going to be healthy.
James, can I just say, excuse me, Tony.
Yeah.
James, can I just say, Tony has been so excited about you coming. He was saying, I can't wait to talk to him. I can't wait for you guys to hear what he has to say. Apparently, he talks about you at home. His wife, Katie Turr, who works for the competition, but we love her anyway, said, good evening from my dinner table, where Tony Dokoupil is explaining to me that our nose holes are a lot smaller than they were 1.5 million years ago. So you have definitely made an impression, James. So bravo to you. I'm curious, is it better to breathe through your nose or breathe through your mouth?
That's an easy question.
Is it?
When you're breathing through your mouth, the reason why that is so damaging for you is specifically because you are not breathing through your nose. So if you were to cut my head in half, and I've seen my head in a CAT scan, what you see here in these sinuses is this incredible volume. It's this very ornate structure. So when we breathe through our noses, we force air through this labyrinth of all these different tubes, all these different structures, so that it is heated, it is moistened, and it is conditioned by the time it enters our lungs. So if you're breathing through the mouth, you don't get any of those advantages. And when you're breathing through the mouth, it's almost like your lungs are an external organ because they're exposed to everything in the air. And if you live in a city like I do, that's pollutants, that's pollutants, on and on and on.
I'm left. I will always be not a mouth breather, but a nose breather, thanks to you. And
I
also,
can't imagine what your dinner table conversation is going to be tonight since you've actually met James Nestor in person.
I was very struck by the book. Also, I want to leave people with the perfect breath. 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out, 5.5 breaths per minute, and you get 5.5 liters of oxygen.
5 seconds in,
That's a
5
long
seconds
breath,
out.
5 seconds.
I know, it's a long one.
That seems
It's
long,
deliberate.
James. 5 seconds seems long. No?
There's a lot more in the book. People should pick it up. It's very interesting. Don't be skeptical. He will convince you. And that book is Breath, on sale now.